Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I talk to people from across the country about things we can do right here in our neighborhood. And on this week's show, I got the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders.
I'm grateful for these women. They are a lot more beautiful on the inside than they are on the outside, and that's probably hard to believe.
So stay off airplane mode, keep cellular on. It doesn't stop you from using Wi-Fi, but when you want to use cellular, turn all that off, go to cellular, and enjoy your connectivity.
We're giving them the training they need to be confident and comfortable and pay that forward to a veteran who's suffering from PTSD. And we're able to do it by saving 2 lives at the end of the leash.
Make sure that when you go to the movies, you actually go to a movie theater. I think we all can benefit from going from a communal theatrical experience.
All of that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. There's nothing quite like a big summer blockbuster, especially when the sound shakes your seat and the screen pulls you right into the action. From superheroes to dinosaurs to Formula One thrill rides, this year's movie lineup is packed with epic stories, and where you see them absolutely matters. So joining us from Dolby Laboratories, high-tech cinema in San Francisco, is Jed Harmsen, a cinema sight and sound expert who knows how to turn a trip to the movies into a full-on experience. Welcome to the show, Jed. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you're joining us from a pretty iconic location. Can you give us like a quick peek of where you are and what makes it special for movie lovers out there?
Yeah, so to give you a quick peek, I'm actually sitting in what is our largest of over 100 labs here at our headquarters here at Dolby in San Francisco. It's what we call the Dolby Cinema, which not only serves as our largest lab, but is actually what we view as our ultimate movie-going experience and combines the 3 key elements for us that deliver an incredible, unforgettable movie-going experience. One is incredible sight technology that we call Dolby Vision. The second is our latest immersive audio technology that we call Dolby Atmos. And last is an auditorium-inspired design that really allows for optimal engagement and sight lines and viewing from every seat in the house. So that's a little flavor of where I'm coming from, where I'm sat in.
And we all know story is important, and every filmmaking set I've been on, they put a lot of pressure and stress on that. But there's one thing that I always point out is the sound and the visuals. But sound, how does that really impact the way we experience a film, pretty much even at the end?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, both sight and sound are so instrumental to the filmmaking process and how consumers engage in the arts and in film in particular. I mean, to me, in the simplest explanation is, our eyes and ears are the predominant ways through which we engage in these stories, right? So yes, it is about storytelling, but the audio visuals are storytelling mechanisms in and of themselves that allow filmmakers to transform their film from something you're simply watching to something to be immersed in, to be a part of. And when you're able to provide the greatest version of that sight and sound, which obviously for us is in the form of Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, that is what creates a level of engagement for film fans that can't be replicated elsewhere and just makes the enjoyment in the arts and entertainment that much more visceral.
And this summer is looking pretty stacked for its lineup. What kind of movies are on the way, and what makes this season stand out pretty much for you guys?
Yeah, as you said, it's a pretty impressive slate. I mean, we just had 28 Years Later and Elio. We have Jurassic World from Gareth Edwards. I'm really excited to see what he does with that franchise, given he directed Rogue One, which happens to be one of my favorite Star Wars films. We have Joe Kosinski's F1, which hopefully a lot of folks have, saw his last little movie called Top Gun Maverick. We have The Man of Steel, Superman coming out from James Gunn. We have Fantastic Four. I mean, I could go on, but it's particularly exciting. And for us at Dolby, what we get excited about is being able to broaden our Dolby Cinema experience to more and more moviegoers and letting them engage in the best version of moviegoing possible.
And for people that are heading to the theater, any tips on how to make sure that they're getting the best possible experience?
Yeah, so the first, which we've talked a little bit about, I mean, I obviously would push everybody to make sure that when you go to the movies, you actually go to a movie theater. I think we all can benefit from going from a communal theatrical experience, detaching from our day-to-day, and just enjoying these films in as unencumbered a way as possible. Sorry, I stole my words a bit there. The second thing is I would really push people towards pick your destination that offers the best sight, the best sound, the best environment for the best overall experience. For us, I would push people towards a Dolby Cinema. We have over 160 of them at AMC locations across the United States. But in case someone may not be able to get to a Dolby Cinema, you can still get an incredible audio experience at Dolby Atmos enabled theaters across the country as well.
And for people that want to learn more before they buy a ticket, where should they go?
I would point everyone to dolby.com/cinema, where you can both find your nearest Dolby Cinema location and learn about all the ways to unlock a premium movie-going experience in Dolby.
Jed, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Did you know skin cancer is the most common cancer in the country? For some older adults, there's a non-surgical way to treat it, but changes to Medicare could affect who gets access. Here to talk about it are Matthew Bassett and Dr. Kenneth Milani. Thank you both for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
What is this treatment and how does it work for skin cancer?
So the treatment is called image-guided superficial radiation therapy, and it consists of really two elements. One element is the therapeutic radiation called superficial radiation, and the other element is imaging using a high-definition ultrasound. Superficial radiation therapy has been in existence for over 100 years and has been used to treat skin lesions by dermatologists during that period of time. So it's an old technology, but a very effective technology. But it doesn't give you the kind of cure rates you see with surgical interventions. And so about 9 years ago, they added imaging to the radiation, and they were able to see the lesions on a three-dimensional basis. And by doing that, they can make finer adjustments to the radiation therapy and ended up getting cure rates that are as good or better than the surgical interventions. And so that's the technology they introduced in 2016 to the marketplace and has been there for 9 years, having treated over 120,000 patients and over 150,000 lesions with cure rates of 99.3% and no significant adverse outcomes.
What kind of change is being talked about with Medicare coverage?
You have a number of large insurers that take care of Medicare beneficiaries that are proposing to end this country, and that would end this policy that would affect millions of seniors all across the country. They're in what they call the open comment period now, and these changes could take place as soon as the end of this month. And that is unfortunate and completely unnecessary when you consider that about 25,000 people are currently undergoing that process today. And today, every senior on traditional Medicare has access to IGSRT treatment and has since 2016. It makes no clinical sense and it makes no cost sense to remove this. A study released this week showed this would actually increase cost because patients will have to access care in a higher cost surgical setting. And that's to the tune of, it will cost the Medicare program between $1 billion and $2.5 billion over a 10-year period. This is completely inconsistent with the direction that the president has instructed the cabinet to go, and it's completely inconsistent with what Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Oz are trying to do.
And how could this make it harder for seniors to get the treatment they need?
Well, it's going to make it economically non-viable. What will happen is Medicare will not pay for the treatment or specifically the imaging, and it'll make it so that if people want to get the therapy, they have to pay out of pocket. And that's unlikely to happen. We all know that. And so what will happen is these people will have to make a decision. What therapy will I get? Am I going to go get surgery, which is going to be potentially harmful to me? Am I going to get a therapy that's more expensive or less effective, like a cream? Or am I just not going to get any treatment at all? And if you happen to have squamous cell carcinoma, which is one of the non-melanoma skin cancers, it could be lethal. So I think it's a very, very risky proposal that's out there and potentially very damaging for senior citizens.
And what are the risks if fewer people can use this non-surgical option?
Yeah, the risk of fewer people getting access to the option is just what I said. You're going to get people that are going to get more complications than they would normally have gotten. So that's going to cost money. And then you're going to get people who are going to die, who should not have died from the lesions. And that, while that may not cost more money, that's catastrophic. So I think that's very problematic. Secondly, it's about access. Most surgery is not that accessible. It's mainly located in urban marketplaces. This therapy is out in the suburban and rural marketplaces. It's making care more accessible with safety, high cure rates, and no additional cost. It just doesn't make sense to take this away from anyone in the marketplace when those things are happening.
And where can people go for more information or to stay updated?
Well, we would encourage everyone to go to patientsact.org. At that website, you can see which insurers are contemplating these coverage changes. You can email them directly with your thoughts and feelings on the issue. You can also reach out to the White House, Congress, and HHS and CMS to urge them to not move these policy proposals forward. And we hope that you would join us there.
Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Do you ever wonder what it really takes to earn one of the most iconic uniforms in sports? I would love one, but I wouldn't look good in it. Season 2 of America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, just dropped on Netflix, and it gives us an all-access pass to the high-pressure world of DCC auditions, training camp, and the life under those stadium lights. So joining us today is longtime DCC director Kelly Finglass, along with current squad members Jada McLean and Reese Weaver, here with a sneak peek behind the pom-poms. Welcome to the show, you three. How are you?
Good morning.
Great.
All right. This new season really takes viewers deeper than it has ever done before. What made you want to tell more of the story this time around, Kelly?
Well, there's just, it's a beautiful story. It's beautiful people, and I've always been very, very proud of the dance and performance achievements of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, but Netflix has now put a new lens on the cheerleaders as individuals, and you get to see this beautiful, complex life of Jada, and you see Reese's personal story, getting married, and her experiences with being a new bride. It's just it's captivating, and they're all someone that different people can relate to and be inspired from.
Jada and Reese, what was it like to have cameras following you along your journey? I have a hard time with the ones that are in this room. Did anything surprise you about like watching it back after everything?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't too surprised just because, for one, we lived it. But I think we have a great camera team. I think they do their best to just be there. They don't really, force anything. They don't try to get in the middle of, anything going on. They kind of just hang around and film. So everything is very authentic, and it is really how it, was lived out. They're just there to capture it.
The show really captures how intense the training process is. What kind of pressure do you guys as dancers face both physically and emotionally?
I think, as dancers, we, from a very young age, we're constantly looking at ourselves in the mirror, and we're trying to learn technique and moves and all sorts of things in the mirror. And I think that can sometimes negatively have an effect on dancers as they grow older with comparison or wanting to have certain strengths that other girls have. But I think that for us, I think that we all know that we are cream of the crop, and we do our best in everything that we do, but we also push ourselves. And so I'm just really grateful for the sisterhood that we have, and that camaraderie of making sure that we're the best in all that we do.
And you get to see a lot of sisterhood and personal growth this season. How has being part of the DCC changed your lives beyond the field?
Yeah, I've met some of my best friends on this team, and truly they've shaped me. They've taught me a lot about myself. They've taught me a lot about, being a good friend, being a good teammate, and being a good human being. So I'm grateful for these women. They are a lot more beautiful on the inside than they are on the outside. I know that's probably hard to believe, but I think they are amazing individuals, and I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by people like them.
I want to thank you three for joining me this morning. If you love football, dance, or just that great underdog story, check out America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, now streaming on Netflix. Thank you three for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Las Vegas has always been the place to bet big, but now the stakes are higher than ever. Circa Sports just announced a $21 million no-rake guarantee for the upcoming football season, plus a brand new high-stakes contest for some serious players. So joining us live from the world's largest sports book inside Circa Resort and Casino is the man behind it all, Circa CEO and longtime sports bettor, Derek Stevens. Welcome to the show. Derek, how are you, my friend?
Great, Dan. Good to talk to you this morning.
All right, let's talk about this $21 million guaranteed prize pool. That's massive. What kind of energy does that bring to Circa Sports this season?
Yeah, just for background, last year, the Circa Million and Circa Survivor, these two football contests both set records. They were both the largest legal football contests of their type in history. So the way it works is Circa Million is a traditional football handicapping contest where you pick 6 games against the spread. Circus Survivor is a football contest where you only pick one game a week, no point spread, but you got to win it to survive to the next week. And it progressively gets a little more difficult because you can only pick a team once all season. The way these contests work, it's $1,000 to enter. You have to enter at one of the Circus sports books in Vegas, but you can play from anywhere because there's proxies here, basically doing office hours. If you just go up to the ticket counter and say you want to get into a football contest, there'll be a proxy here that'll be able to put your picks in for you. You'll be able to work a deal out with them. So these two football contests that set records last year are going to come back and set new records this year. So Circa Million, we're guaranteeing $6 million. Circus Survivor, we're guaranteeing $15 million. So we expect them both to set new records for their particular football contests in 2025. Now, we also have one new element this year, and that has to do with a new contest called Circa Grandissimo. We had quite a bit of interest from various people that wanted to play in a higher stakes Circus Survivor style contest. And what we did is we created a contest that's similar to Circus Survivor, but it had a couple differences. This one has a guaranteed payout of $1.5 million. The key thing is the entry fee is $100,000. So it's the $100,000 that's going to limit the number of people participating in Circa Grandissimo. So the odds of winning are much, much higher, but it costs a lot more to get into it. So we're just excited this year. They're going to be records of all these legal football contests. We're excited to bring these to Las Vegas and really to the country. So we should be really busy July and August.
I was surprised by the $100,000 buy-in on that one. I'm like, I'm in, but I don't have $100,000. All right. As someone who genuinely loves sports betting, what makes Las Vegas such a legendary place to watch and wager and just hang out and party?
Well, I think, it just comes down to the venues. I mean, look where I'm at. I'm lucky. I mean, behind me is the odds board, television studio behind the camera to my right, massive sportsbook screen, the world's largest sportsbook right here, 3-story sportsbook. And then above us is Stadium Swim, 6 pools, 143-foot screen, open year round, open 365 days a year, all with the sports orientation here. So I think sports is something that people really love to consume and enjoy with their family, with their friends, with groups. And having a great setting like this where I'm at here at Circa Resort and Casino, the world's largest sports booker, Stadium Swim, just a great reason for people to come together, enjoy some good food, good drinks, and make some bets.
And for anyone thinking about jumping in, how does Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Grandissimo actually work, or how do you begin?
So all the information will be on circusports.com. But effectively what it is, if you just come to the ticket counter and you want to participate, you let them know you want to get in. It's $1,000 to enter. They'll ask you if you want a proxy. I highly recommend you use a proxy. And then there'll be proxies here that'll be able to put your picks in for you throughout the season. And then you kind of go from there. And then you just got to pick some winners.
All right. So where can people go one more time to sign up, get all the details, my friend?
All the details will be at circusports.com. And to stay at the hotel, resort, and casino, circalasvegas.com.
Derek Stevens, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Good to talk to you.
With summer vacations in full swing, cruise lines are filling up, and so are questions about how to use your phone at sea. Joining us is Pramod Arora, CEO of Wireless Maritime Services, with some helpful advice to keep your calls, text, and social media running smoothly while you're on the water. Hi, Pramod.
Hey, Abby. Nice to be here. Thank you.
What's one thing people forget to plan before their cruise?
Typically, people tend to either get confused about or forget to plan for connectivity, how to stay connected while you're taking a cruise vacation. So I would highly recommend that's the first thing you think about when you start thinking about a cruise vacation. And the good thing is you don't have to wait. You can do it today, even if you're not cruising for months, because you'll only be charged for these plans once you're on the ship.
And can you share your 3 best tips on how to help stay connected while cruising?
Absolutely. So the first thing, as I said, is plan ahead. Don't wait until the day of the cruise or week of the cruise to start thinking about connectivity. You can do that months in advance. In fact, you can do that before you even think about which cruise you're taking. It's so easy to do, and I'll tell you in a little. The second is figure out what the right solution for you might be. One way to do that is to go to our website, cellular@sea.com. And within 2 to 3 minutes, you'll find out what's the right product for you, whether it's a day pass from your cellular carrier, whether it's the Wi-Fi product from the cruise line. So that's number 2. And number 3, when you're on the ship, make sure your phone is not in airplane mode. That's a misconception. I started with plane travel, and that's where you have to be in airplane mode, but not on a cruise ship. So stay off airplane mode, keep cellular on. It doesn't stop you from using Wi-Fi, but when you want to use cellular, turn all that off, go to cellular and enjoy your connectivity.
And why is data usage so important to think about ahead of time?
Because that's what decides what the right product for you and your family members might be. I'll use my family as an example. When we go and take a cruise, my needs are ability to make and receive phone calls, sending some messages, browsing, checking emails multiple times a day, and maybe a few apps here and there like banking or medical. For that, a day pass from my carrier is a great option for me. But my kids who have different needs, very video and data centric, like watching movies all day or staying on social media all day, for them, a cruise line Wi-Fi might be a better option. So finding out the right solution for you takes that confusion out and makes the vacation and those memories just more, it's easier to navigate.
And what are some options for people with Verizon or AT&T plans?
Yeah, we are super excited about these 2 partnerships that we have with AT&T and Verizon. So both have launched cruise day passes, first time in the history of cruising with WMS. So I'll start with AT&T. So if you're an AT&T subscriber, you're probably aware of the International Day Pass. For $12 a day, you can use your phone in 200 plus countries. Now, for $8 more per day, you can take that connectivity on cruise ships. So $20 total on the days when you touch land in a cruise ship. It's probably the best value for money in the history of cruise roaming, cruise ship roaming. Verizon has a similar product, $20 a day. That's on top of any other package you might have, but still $20 a day, and you can use your phone on a cruise ship just like you do at home or at work. So those are 2 great options for people to consider when they're planning a cruise vacation.
And where can viewers go to learn more?
You can always choose to go to your carrier's website, att.com/cruise or verizon.com/cruise. But I would also suggest that take a look at cellular@sea.com. You can get those options, but also other options for carriers that don't have a great roaming options today. You might have an eSIM product that you can buy. Again, it'll take you to those websites and you can buy that product right then and there. So it's very seamless, very user-friendly.
Pramod, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for having me.
Here in New Mexico, we know what it means to show up for your neighbors. Across the country, that same community spirit is alive in small towns, rural areas. Tractor Supply's Hometown Heroes campaign is all about celebrating people who give back, whether they've served in the military, work as first responders, or just stepped up when help was needed. With us today are Marty Skold-Jordan from the Tractor Supply Foundation, U.S. Navy veteran Dan Clavel, and his service dog in training, Scarlett, and Jen Stout, who's being honored as a hometown hero in North Carolina. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Oh, thank you so much.
Marty, what is the Hometown Heroes program and why is it special?
It's an initiative we kicked off last year to recognize and be grateful for everything that folks do as first responders, veterans, or current serving military. So it's really threefold. First of all, we gave $1 million, split 10 ways amongst 10 very worthy nonprofits that are like Canines for Warriors, that's here in the studio with us today, Farmer Veterans Coalition, Team Rubicon, 9/11 Day, Folds of Honor, really great organizations that help in that space. Also, we have identified hometown heroes and recognized those that work within our company. They're our team members. Sometimes they're our customers. Then we give them a $5,000 grant that they can designate to their charity of choice, which Jen, who's in the studio with us today, gave to Canine for Warriors. And in addition to that, through our Neighbors Club program, we have Hometown Heroes. So if you are one of those service members or a first responder, you too get additional discounts and benefits.
And why does Tractor Supply care so much about honoring heroes in small towns?
Oh, they do so much for us, plain and simple. They are everywhere in our communities and in our country and where we are. They're our customers, they're our friends, and we want to say thank you and give back.
And Dan, can you tell us about Scarlett? What does she do and how will she help a veteran?
So, Candace Ford is so proud to say that a majority of our dogs are coming from local shelters and rescues. These dogs, they've been abandoned, they've been forgotten. So we're giving them a second chance. We're giving them the training they need to be confident and comfortable and pay that forward to a veteran who's suffering from PTSD. And we're able to do it by saving 2 lives at the end of the leash. These dogs will be given all the training that they need to go to places like Tractor Supply, help these veterans go back out into public and acclimate and do well in high stress environments. We do it at no cost to the veterans. And thanks to Tractor Supply, we're continuing to be able to do it and save more lives and hopefully one day end veteran suicide.
Yeah. And Jen, why do you think your community nominated you as a hero? And what are you doing at Hendersonville?
Well, first off, I just want to say it is very much a humbled honor to have been chosen as a hometown hero for Tractor Supply. I'm not really sure why the community and Tractor Supply decided to nominate me. I was just doing my job. I served in the Marine Corps for several years, and then I served as an EMT for several years in the back of an ambulance, just giving into the community and going to work every day and holding their hands when they needed the help and being there at their worst when you're an EMS. And then through that, I was able to actually step back and retire for a little while. And then I wanted to serve some more. I put on the red vest for Tractor Supply last year. Now I'm a Tractor Supply store manager, and more so in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Helene hit that area very hard. That area and that community is still trying to recover. So each and every day, myself, along with my store team members, we've able to give back to that community. We've provided shelter, we've provided food, we've provided water, fuel, propane, things for that community to rebuild. And it's going to take a long time of us coming to work, red vesting up every day to continue to serve and help them rebuild. So we're just doing our job, and I've just done my job, but they felt the need to say thank you. And I appreciate that, because that handshake does go a long way.
And Marty, what is the Neighbors Club and how can people get involved?
Neighbors Club is a point system. And so you can sign up online, tractorsupply.com/hometown heroes. And while it's for everyone, if you are a hometown hero, and that means that you're a veteran, you did service at some point, you're currently serving in the military, or you're a first responder, you get that additional discount program, Preferred Plus. And that means every day you get a discount. 3 times a year, 4th of July, Veterans Day, First Responders Day, you get an additional 10% off. You get numerous coupons throughout the year, gifts and recognition. And it's just our way of saying we are grateful. We see you. We support you. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, you 3, for joining us today.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, just email me. That's newmexicorising@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And if you want to go to our website, that's newmexicorising.com. We got merch and other things you could get there. Plus, follow us on YouTube. That's @NM Rising. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that extra good stuff. And until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.